Hi guys, welcome back. This is now issue 55 Build the Classic Routemaster. So sorry there wasn't a video last week, but it's due to not having the issues come through. There was a slight delay. I had an email saying that there was slightly delayed and they'd be with me by the end of last week. And I think they came on Tuesday or Wednesday. So I've got the others here, and this is 55, the next one. So without further ado, let's crack on and get building. I think this might be a little bit of a tricky one. I think people have had issues with this issue. But we'll see how we go. Okay, so as always, we'll check everything off, make sure everything is present, and then we'll start the build. So this is the parts. Let me crack this open. And then we'll empty them out. I can see some small bits. Oh dear. Okay, so we've got 55A, which is the right end wall, which is this piece here. Again, this is plastic. We've got B, which is the left end wall. C, which is this window pane, and they've bagged this individually, which is nice to keep it protected. We've got some wiring, which says cable K, and that's they've already stuck an extension on for us out of the pack. You can say it's already connected. It's like some sort of splitter, but that's marked up K. And then we've got switches attached to two wires. One is a lot shorter than the other. Okay, we've got E, which is some strips of tape, and there's 4 of those. And then we've got lots of screws. So we've got red MP screws. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put these out straight away as I call them out. So we're all ready to go. So we've got red MP screws. We've got grey MP screws. And I don't think we've actually had grey ones before yet, have we? We've got some cream MP screws. And then we've got some cream DP screws. And I'm actually going to put these second along because I don't want to get them too near the other cream ones. We've got some red DP screws. Excuse me. And then finally we've got some black JP screws. That are all the screws ready to go, and that is everything. I'm happy we can get building. So I'll bring you in a bit. Right, the first stage is to arrange the cable around the inside of the doorway panel 54A. So we're going to need this part from last week, or the week before in my case. And we need to arrange the cable. So start by fitting the bell push in place near the top of the entrance as indicated by the red dotted line. And then finishing up fitting the last bell push. So we want the longest wire first, and that is going to fit just up there in the switch. Okay, so what I think the best thing to do is it's asking us to fit all this first and then go back and tape. I think we should tape as we go. Now I'm going to use one of their supplied stickers, and I think the best thing to do is you want to make sure this wire is completely flat in the groove, and then just put some tape just on there so it's nice and flat, and I can run my finger across there with no problems at all. It then wants us to run the cables down and I'm trying to keep the cable really straight. Because the straighter it is, the more flush it's going to fit. Sorry, you can't see what I'm doing. I'm just sort of going along, straightening the cable. Okay, and then I'm just training it round, and the picture shows it around about there, so I'm happy with that. That seems to be quite nice. Okay, so I noticed that the top was cutting round a bit, so I'm just going to get that, make sure that is correct. I think it is quite fiddly, and I've seen people with issues where if this wire is not straight, it's not going to go together nicely, and that's not what we want. So it will take a little bit of extra time. But I think it'll be worth it in the end. So I'm happy with that. I'm going to sort of train that along there. And once we've done that, we need another piece of the sticky tape. Which fell on the floor. Oh, and then I'm just going to stick that just there, just to keep that secure. And then I'm going to grab another piece ready, because we need to carry on with this wire, make sure it's really flat, and then it wants us to stick it just there over that corner. And then up through this recess like that, and I'm happy with that. Now if you want to go a little bit extra, this is my favourite. I'm going to use some electrical tape. And I'm just going to make that even more secure just down here. Just so that doesn't go anywhere. Okay. And then once we've done that, we need to run this straight in this wire. I'm going to run it up this side. The switch will go in the other hole here. And then we need to train both these wires to come up and out. Struggling a little bit, there you go. And then finally the last piece of tape. If I can get it off. It's quite difficult to get the tape off the backing paper. There you go. I'm just going to put, it's tasking us to put a bit right across that junction. Like that. Now you'll notice that this wire is a little bit longer, but I don't think it's going to make any difference whatsoever because that will be hidden somewhere. Okay, so with that being done, I'm then going to take a bit more electrical tape because that's effectively what they've sent us anyway. And I mean the amount of electrical tape we've used for this project that they've supplied, they probably would have been better off sending us a roll at the beginning, and then you know we can use it. But okay, so I've just put a bit there just to secure that wire in the channel. And I'm also going to put a bit over the switches. Just like that. Just to keep the switches from popping up. Because obviously you can push them back through. So if you push on the bell, it pushes the switch back through. So I'm just going to put a bit of extra tape on there. Just to keep them coming down. So that is what I am left with, and I'm quite happy with that. So cross fingers, the rest of it will go back together. Okay, so it says there should be a little bit of slack this side. Which I have. Oh, that jumped a bit there. I have got a little bit of slack there, so I think that'll be okay. Okay. Next, we need to position the window. Well, I'm going to try and do this without touching it. There you go. Position the window in the frame. And then we want to start with obviously this piece, which is the right hand side with the window pane. And then we're going to fit this over here. and then we're going to attach that with screws. So cross fingers, all my screws go in okay. So we're going to use MP screws, and I need to change my bit. I've currently got a J1 and that is no good, it's too big, so I'm going to try a J00. Perfect. So we want to put 2 screws in. You want this top hole and this hole here on the right. I'm going to start with this one on the right. Not too tight, because I don't want to force it out when I put the other one in if there's some tension with the switch under there. And then the one at the top here. Brilliant. Okay. Then we want 4 grey screws to go in 4 corners around the window. So I'm going to sort of methodically work down. I'm going to go down into the bottom left first. Then the top left. Top right. And bottom right. So now I'm just going to check these cream screws and that I'm happy that they're in position. You don't want to do too much on these screws because obviously they are painted, so be really gentle. There we go. And I've got no window rattle, so I'm really happy that that is in secure enough. And I've still got slack here. See where the wire comes through the side, so that is really good, so I know there's no trapped wires there. Last of all, we want 2 MP screws on the very bottom. This shouldn't be a problem because there isn't actually any wiring under this part of the panel. Brilliant. And there we go, that is that side done. That went a lot smoother than I thought. As I say, I've been seeing some people and they've had terrible problems trying to get this fitted because of the cable, but I think the key is just to spend a little bit of time to completely flatten the cable. See, along the bottom the red is always more towards the bottom, and then down the side the red is on the outer edge. I think as long as you get it arrowed right really straight, I think you should be alright. And I think I've got enough slack there. Okay, next we're going to move on and we're going to assemble the other side. Position the right inner rear panel on the other side of the rear entrance wall, fix in place with the MP screws as indicated. 3 cream ones at the top, so that makes sense. 1, 2, 3. 2 red ones in the middle, 1, 2, and 2 red ones at the bottom. It says do not over tighten the screws, but we know that because we've done that ever since day 1 anyway. So you'll notice that there's a channel in the side. Let me just adjust the focus for you. That little channel, make sure the wires are coming through the channel there. Okay, and I'm happy with that, and that is a really nice flush fit. So with that being in, I'm actually going to start with these 2 screws because they're closest to this area here where we want to keep the cables in position. So I'm just going to put my screw on, check and double check that those cables aren't caught. And then I'm going to screw in this middle left one first. Okay, and then I'm going to move to the bottom left one, because that is the nearest edge, as I say, to where we're clamping this cable through. So with that being done, I'm then going to continue with the red ones. I'm going to put this one in down here in the bottom right. And then the top right, or middle right should I say. Which then just leaves us to do the 3 cream screws on this top part here. So 1, I'm going to do this left one, some of them are quite difficult to get in. If they just spin to start with, just give it a little bit of pressure and then they start going in. Brilliant, and I'm really happy with that. Okay, so then the next step is to attach it to the wall of the bus. This is a bigger issue than I thought actually. I thought we would be just doing this, but no, it calls for the actual lower deck area. So before we carry on, let's just ignore the work, make sure everything lines up. For me it does, that seems to be straight, that's quite straight, bit of a bulge there, but that's obviously where the switch is. And most importantly, check the switches click, and mine do. Because sometimes, even though you test them out the bag, when you put them into something like this and then you're forcing it down, it could get caught and then they won't operate. That happened on the Delorean. Those of you who've done the Delorean, when you put the switches in the middle console, after you put the decal on that they supplied and screwed everything down, it put pressure on all the switches and all the switches became dead. So we had to, there's a little fix for that. We had to either take the decal off, or you had to sand or file some of the bottom of the decal down. But no, I'm really happy with that. That has gone on nicely, and I've got no rattling window. So, bear with me a second. This is our lower deck. There we go. And we're going on the back here. Just move this up a bit. Put my screws this side, and I still need access to the magazine. There we go. So, the first thing we need to do is obviously the cable needs to be to the left towards this wall here, and you'll notice that there's a cutout just there. That is where this cable is going to feed through. So we'll do that first. So just put that cable through. And perfect. Pull the wires, make sure they're through, and then we can have a look and see how we're going to line this up. Okay, so JP screw we're going to need, and for that I'm going to have to change my head to a J1. And it's actually asking us to start on this other side. So I'm going to bring this round. I might have to adjust the camera again. We'll see. Yeah, I'm going to have to actually hang it off the table because it's lower, obviously, than the bottom of the lower deck, because obviously the step up into the bus. So that is actually a really nice fit. Once that's in place, we're going to put JP screws in 2 of the holes. One just below the wiring there, and then this one here. So I'm just going to line that up with the hole, and that has gone in. A couple of turns just to hold that into place. And then the same for the bottom. Make sure that's in place. That feels okay, that's going in. And then I'm going to proceed to tighten them. And that, I'm happy with that. I don't want to push that anymore. That's enough to grab it, and it's tight. Okay. Now we're going to work on the other side. Now, in order for me to do this, I'm going to need to put something on the desk. So please bear with me for 2 secs, and I will do that. This should do the trick. It's a drill case. Perfect. Because obviously we need to raise this up off the floor. And then we're going to be working on this side. So, as you can see, we've got these lugs here, and then we've got holes there. So we're going to line them up, but be careful because we need to bring the cable to the outside. Okay, so there might be, that's where we leave the slack, so we can pull that cable out a little bit. Okay, and then with that in place, once you've sussed out which place it goes, obviously 2 more JP screws. Oh, I've already got them out ready. So that is one just grabbed, and then the last one down the bottom here. And then I'm going to give them a little tighten. There, I don't want to do any more than that. That is solid. So that is that. It's then, I don't think it's got any, it doesn't really matter too much, but it's asking us to put the wire around that and then inside like that. It sort of comes out round there, in there and round there. So what I'm going to do, you've guessed it, I absolutely love electrical tape, so why not? Why not? It's not going to do it any harm, and it will keep the wires in place where I want them. So that'll do, just enough to keep that in place there. And just there. There we go. I'm really happy with that, how that's come out. Okay. And then if I turn it round, that's what we look like at the back. Yeah, there we go. Okay, and I'm back. I know you thought it was the end of the film. I have actually made a boo-boo. So I'm having to, I don't want to, well, I'm having to. I missed one step in the instruction, which was quite a small step, and there wasn't much detail on it. And actually, one step hasn't even got any illustrations for it. So I'm just having to take this rear wall back off, and a lot of you eagle-eyed viewers will probably be screaming at the screen already anyway, because you'll know what I missed. So mistakes happen. I realised before I'd put everything away, because I always do the build and then I check the instructions, make sure I've done all the steps, and in this case I did miss a step. So all we're going to do is back on this rear wall. We should have added, because I had a load of screws left, 2 DP screws in these 2 holes, and what isn't illustrated are 2 cream DP screws up in these holes. And the idea of these screws is to hold the bell pushes into place. So the chances are it probably would have been okay. However, I am not happy with not having them in personally. So, you know, they didn't seem to cause a problem not being there, because obviously this rear panel holds the switches in anyway. But here we go again. So this this was step 5, adding these in. For those of you who haven't done this yet, there we go, and 2. And now I've fitted them, I'm going to double check the switches work. Yeah, perfect. So that was all it was. So just remember, step 5, DP screws there and red ones there. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is put this back together, and then we'll close the video. I won't show you putting this back on, because obviously I've already showed you how to do this. Okay, so with that rectified, that is the issue done. Really enjoyed that issue actually. I wasn't dreading it, but I knew it may. I was prepared. I think that's the word. I was prepared for a challenge. However, for me that went really smoothly. Whether it's just the parts I received were, I don't know, different tolerances, or just my OCD. And I mean, I'd be neat anyway. Even if we weren't running wires like that, I'd still be using electrical tape and straightening wires out. And you know, it wouldn't surprise me if one day I got the iron out and started ironing them if they were really bad. No, I wouldn't do that. But do you know what I mean? I would have done a neat job of it anyway. I don't know. I just really enjoy it. It's not really. It's not OCD. It's not actual OCD. You know, obviously, I know people that do suffer with that, and you know, it's quite a serious condition. But no, for me, I just like doing it. I like making a neat job of it. So I enjoy making a neat job of it, should I say? And I think that just, you know, I take pride in the model. You know, it's all part of the fun, isn't it? Building the model. It's not a case of let's quickly rush it together. You know, I joined this part of it because I love building things. So yeah, I really enjoyed it anyway. So thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe. If you wish to buy me a coffee, there is a link in the description below. There is also a link to my Amazon wish list, if you'd like to as well. So thank you for all the gifts that have come through. Thank you very much to Adrian Langley. He's already messaged me to say he didn't mind me mentioning. He very kindly bought me some needle files that I've needed for a while, and they're just so handy to have, you know, with what we're having a 3D printer. And you know, I haven't had so many problems with the Routmaster, but there may be times where I need to sort of help the holes a little bit on some of the plastic pieces, and these would be absolutely perfect for things like that. So thank you so much, Adrian. Anyway, that's enough blabber from me. So I will see you next Monday for issue 56. So yeah, take care.